Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Positive Dreams Project. We are your hosts, Sarah and Sydnee, and today we are going to be sharing our personal stories.
We launched the Positive Dream Project through our partnership with our organizations, Jumbled Dreams and the Positive Change Project.
I am 15 years old and the founder of the nonprofit Jumbled Dreams Changing Lives. Our goal is to inspire and teach others on how they can make a difference and inspire them to make a change in my own community. My journey started by raising money for the American Cancer Society and then for underprivileged youth across the world. Since then, I have raised over 90,000 pounds of food, 30,000 toiletries, and I have partnered with over 15 partner organizations to make change go further.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I am a college student who is also the founder of the Positive Change Project. The goal of my project is to spread smiles to those who need it most. The biggest portion of my project is making bookmarks for people in need of positivity. I'm a nursing student and I've always felt called to help others. So during this pandemic, I saw a need for positivity, so I started my project.
Before we start the presentation, I advise everyone to set your video on speaker's view so you can see both of us speak. We also want to let you know that we will be recording the podcast and it will be posted on YouTube by the end of the week. We hope that you find this inspiring, touching, and truthful. We want to let everyone know that these are real stories and we will not be giving any advice. Instead, we hope to offer you ways to help support the anti-bullying movement and inspire others to be kind. So sit back and relax and enjoy the first ever episode of Positive Dreams Project.
So in my life, I have not only been bullied myself, but I've also witnessed it happen to many people around me. These experiences are what have drawn me to want to help participate in a project that helps raise awareness for bullying and suicide. When I was in the first grade, I was diagnosed with something called auditory processing disorder. Basically, I had trouble hearing, which made it hard for me to not only make friends, but also for me to perform in school. I would often be told that I was dumb or not good enough by the people who I thought were my friends. Many people would mouth words to me, mocking my hearing difficulties. In high school, I was even told that I was a disappointment to my family because I was not as smart as my twin brother. While as I've gotten older, the bullying with regard to academics was minimized. I was bullied for my weight throughout middle school and high school. I swam competitively throughout my childhood, and a lot of emphasis was put on having the perfect swimmer body, which is something that I never really had. Due to this, I was called names by both the boys and girls team, along with enduring daily comments by some coaches, who would frequently take our weight and even comment on it. Along with having this happen to me, I witnessed many other acts of bullying like this on the team to other team members. They were called names such as like biscuit and like potato chips, but they were also cyberbullied on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And this made me really, really uncomfortable because I felt like nobody was really doing anything about it. It was something that like a lot of people knew that was happening, but a lot of people would either be bystanders or join in. So with this being said, getting bullied is a part of who I am, and it is the part that I wish that would have never really happened to me. But I know that I've grown from this experience. I was watching New Girl earlier today, and the main character said something along the lines of, "Your past is what shaped you into the person that you are today." And this really resonated with me. Like I said before, while I wish that this had never happened to me, I know that I am a stronger person for it. And I'm even a more empathetic one. And I attribute a lot of what I've gone through to being a nursing major and to really wanting to help other people because of the acts of bullying that I have witnessed and experienced myself.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your story. Ever since I was little, I've not been the normal child who went and played on the playground or the girl who was allowed to do normal kid things. And that was because I was sick. I would get fevers of 105 and no one knew what was wrong with me. My friends were worried, scared, and often I just felt alone. Also, my parents separated in 2010. I moved to a brand new school with people being much, much bigger than me. They would push me around and act like I was invisible. It got so bad that I did not want to go to school. I just wanted to stay home with my mom. My mom saw I was suffering and moved me to a new school. I was much happier there. However, my third grade year, a girl was super mean to me and she even pulled my hair. However, at the time, it did not faze me as much as it did when I hit middle school. My eighth grade year, I was very fortunate to become student council president at my my middle school. And with being a leader, it comes with its drawbacks and challenges. On January 1st of 2018, I received an anonymous phone call that said no caller ID. Of course, my mom had always taught me never to answer those calls, so I didn't. But they left a message. And of course, I'm curious and always want to read listen to the messages after. And it said that I should die, that I wasn't good enough, and that whatever I was doing was wrong. And that broke my heart. Still to this day, I don't know who said that, but I hope they know that they're not alone. Whatever battles they're fighting, they're not alone. Then high school rolls around, and high school is tough. No one tells you that you're going to be left out and that you might have to get a whole new friend group and that drama is real. And then people calling me out because I did not support something that they supported just because I'm a leader. And, it's really, really important for me and for everyone to see that you have to be who you are first, and you're not going to please everybody. I've always tried to be a people pleaser, and that's not really worked out well for me. And so I feel like it's important to know that my bullying stories in many different ways are just a part of who I am. They've made me stronger. They've made me proud of myself. They've made me proud of my family. And I think for all of these people who are experiencing bullying, they need to know that you guys, we're all in this together. And I think that's super important to know.
Thank you, Sydney. So now let's look at some facts about bullying. According to numerous factual sources, we have found these different facts and statistics on bullying.
Approximately 30% of young people admit to bullying others in surveys.
About 1,600 teens have skipped school because of bullying.
In one large study, about 49% of children in grades 4 through 12 reported being bullied by other students at school at least once during the past month, whereas 30.8% reported bullying others during that time.
Only about 20 to 30% of students who are bullied notify adults about being bullied.
So now, for the past several weeks, people from across the world have shared their stories of unkindness. Every episode, we will share 2 to 3 powerful stories of how unkindness shaped the way these people are today. If you would like to share your story, we will drop the link in the chat for you. All stories are completely anonymous and your identity will never be known.
So let's look at our first story. So one day in 9th grade, I was walking across the gym towards the locker room to change into my PE clothes. I walked past a girl that I knew, but had never really talked to before. As I passed, I heard her tell her friends, "Ugh, I hate this person," who happened to be this girl's name. I glanced over to see if they were talking about me, even though I was the only person in the school with that name. And I saw her and all of her friends glaring at me. It stuck with me that somebody I had never even talked to before could say that they hated me.
So what can you tell others who are going through similar situations? Unfortunately, this happens all too often. I'm really sorry that this happened to you. No one should ever be made to feel like they are less than enough. I'm sure many others have been in the exact same place you have been, and for no reason either. I hope you continue to ignore those who continue to bring you down and keep your head held high. But do always remember, you never know what someone else is going through. It in no way excuses what was said or done, but maybe helps to look at it in a different perspective. I remember people were jealous of my relationship with my mom. What they didn't know was we were so close because of my parents' divorce and how sick I was when I was little. Maybe this will help y'all too.
Reminder, these stories, while these are real stories, we are not giving advice. Instead, we hope to offer you ways to help support the anti-bullying movement and inspire you to be kind to others. So let's look at our second story. Growing up, I was super quiet and kept to myself a lot. In 1st to 10th grade, sometimes even in 11th, I was asked questions or people made comments about my body weight, appearance, and just my personality. 3 situations that stood out to me that impacted me the most were when I was called Chubs when I was in 6th grade at some practice. Also in middle school, a girl either threw something at me like a ball or like a ball in gym class or used some type of physical contact in a way that hurt me physically and then acted like she didn't mean to do it when the girl only did this towards me. And then in 11th grade, a guy asked me, "What if you got skinny?" These made me very self-conscious and made me unhappy with the person that I am. I was afraid that if I went to go and try to talk to someone, that I would be told I was dramatic or just overthinking the situations. Overall, it really put me in a dark spot, and I still to this day am very reserved and quiet because of all of these bullying situations.
So, what can you tell others who are going through the similar things? Oh, to be the perfect body type. What exactly does that mean? It's something we all look in the mirror, and it never seems to give us the answer we're looking for. As if the answer is a miracle cure for all of our problems. We all feel like it will be. I'm here to tell you that no matter your body type, who you are, and is who you are meant to be. Can we improve ourselves? Absolutely. No one is perfect. But how the improvement comes should totally be up to you. I've learned the hard way that if you want others to respect you, you have to respect yourself first. I know, no easy task sometimes. If you aren't comfortable with talking to someone about your situation, a good thing to do is write about it. Always know you are worthy of anything, and most importantly, you are loved by so many.
Just another reminder that we are not giving advice. Instead, we hope to offer ways to, again, support the anti-bullying movement and spread kindness.
So now we would like to open the floor up to anyone that might have questions. Feel free to unmute yourself or leave your questions in the chat feature.
It's okay if you don't have questions. If you want to share your story on our podcast, please let us know by filling out the form that Sydney is going to put into the chat. Remember that all of our stories are completely anonymous. Thank you all for joining us for the first episode of the Positive Dreams Project. We hope that you found our stories truthful, inspiring, and touching.
And we do have one question.
Oh, we do have a question?
Yes. And it is, why are you doing this? So Sarah, do you want to take that first?
Yeah. So for me, as I mentioned before, I have always really felt called to helping others. And for me specifically, I think that I feel especially called to helping people in situations that I've been in myself. Just because I think that that's a special, like, empathetic connection. Um, and so when Sydney brought up the whole like anti-bullying campaign and like anti-suicide campaign, because I had experienced so many acts of bullying myself, and I've experienced, not personally, but like my friends have been bullied so bad that they've attempted suicide or like made plans to commit suicide. And just because of that, I really feel the need to kind of spread the word that like bullying is a thing, and that it essentially ruins kids' lives to the point where they want to end them. And I think that it's super important to be able to kind of like spread the word about that.
I totally agree with her. I think it's important that we share our stories. A couple weeks ago, I shared my story on our social media, on Jumbled Dreams' social media, and I got an outpour of love. I had people who actually had bullied me and say mean things, message me and apologize for bullying me and saying that they were in a really bad spot and they were having family issues. And I think that's so important to realize that you never know what battles people are fighting. And also, it's been so much fun working with Sarah. We had connected to be partners with Jumbled Dreams and Positive Change Project. But what we didn't realize is that we were also like twins. We love the same things and we love to do the same things and share stories. So that was a really cool experience as well. We've had a blast learning about each other. We are pretty much kind of across the country from each other. So it's kind of a lot of fun to meet virtually. But yeah, I think it's important that to share our story and have the courage for it. So another question for you, Sarah, is how did you find the courage to share your story?
Um, that's such a good question. Oh my gosh. Um, I think that for me, it's not as much courage as kind of like, I think that me, like, having experienced something, I know how much it's impacted me, and I talked about how I'm a more empathetic person because of it. But I think that it's super important to kind of share your own story with the intention of helping others. Um, so I think that really what gave me the courage was knowing, or at least hoping, that like somebody would relate to my story and kind of gain strength through that.
I agree. I think also a lot of people find it so inspiring and they get the courage to share their stories too. When we put out the link so people could share their story anonymously, I had no idea at how many stories we would get so quickly. And just seeing that one time that I posted about it really changed a lot of people's perspective, also on who I am and who they want to be and who they want people to, how they want people to think about them. So I think it's really important as well to share your story if you have the courage, because there's so many people who are silent about it because they're scared and they don't want to talk about it because they feel like they might get bullied even more. And so I feel like I have to speak for those who can't speak for themselves or who have committed suicide because of bullying and they're no longer here. We need to speak for them. And so that is why I am doing this. And Sarah, another question for you is, what is one thing you wish you could tell your friends that have hurt you?
I wish I could tell them thank you, because I I mean, like, again, as I mentioned, I would literally do anything to have not experienced some of these things. But I think the reality of it is that I have, and my future has completely shifted itself because of this. And I absolutely love where I am right now. And I love what I've gained in knowledge of myself, but knowledge of others. And like, if I hadn't been bullied, I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. And I think that it's super special to be able to kind of like share your own experience. So I think that I would tell them thank you.
And as I always tell people, kill them with kindness, no matter how mean they are with you. It looks, it makes you feel better because instead of hurting them back with mean words, you're hurting them with positive words. And then they change and then they become people who are advocating for, anti-bullying and stuff. So I think it's so important to share your story and to make sure that, you know, you tell them thank you. Like I told the girl who reached out to me who was being mean to me, I told her, I said, it's okay. I said, what happened is in the past. Thank you for reaching out now. but you've made me into a stronger person. And so I can thank you for that. And I think she was kind of at a loss for words there. But I think it's so important to me. And I'm super, super proud of my story. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing.
All right. Any other questions? If not, thank you for coming to our first podcast.
Thank you so much, guys. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Our next episode is going to be on August the 11th. And so stay tuned about all the details of that. We will share it on our social media. We are also recording this, so feel free to share it with people who have experienced bullying or who you know would like to see this. So thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye. Oh. Have I ever?
Okay, good. I removed everyone. I was like going through and removing them.
Okay.